Alright, third update here on the Atlatl. I did make a slight modification to it, or two modifications. This here, this nub, originally it had a rounded top to it, and as I was shooting it, I don't know if it's me or if it was this release, the back of the dart would be either flying this way or flying that way when I was shooting. Of course, it has to do with not having fletching. I'm shooting the shafts without fletching first so I can, get the hang of shooting it straight. If it's got fletching on it, the fletching compensates for your mistakes. But if you don't have fletching on it, it'll show the mistakes. That's the reasoning behind that. All right. So the dart a lot of times would mysteriously just go this way or that way, and I think it was because while I was shooting, the back was glancing off this way or glancing off that side. Okay, so what I did was I flattened it and dished it out very slightly so that when the back of the dart releases, it releases straight off the top of the Atlatl. When this releases, this will travel straight off the top instead of glancing off to the side this way or glancing off to the side that way. All right. And I noticed on the basket maker Atlatls, this whole top is flat. Okay, the whole surface is flat, and I think that's to make sure that the dart has a clean release straight off. Let's see if I can get this straight off the Atlatl without glancing off to the sides. Okay, so, and I was shooting it, I shot it a couple dozen times, I guess, and it does seem to make a difference, and it seems to be a little bit quieter too. I still get that little pop on the release, and I was watching some videos, and other guys were getting that little pop on the release, which I guess it's natural. I don't know if you'd be able to get rid of it, but I made that modification. Seems to be working well. And on this here, I put one loop, and I was shooting it with one loop, and it's feeling really good. The only thing is, I think that I'm going to move this whole thing upward. The loop, the stone, the binding, everything a little bit upward, because my thumb is hitting this spot right here. It's bumping up against that. Now I can either shoot this very loosely or I can grip it tightly and shoot it. Either way, my thumb is bumping up against that, so if I move it upward, there's more of a clearance there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this apart and weigh each component. So you can see that's just a simple piece of leather doubled up. Okay, the other modification I did to this was I added notches to the side of this handle just to prevent it from slipping down. But I'm going to move the whole loop mechanism upward. Let's see, I should make a mark where it used to be. That way I know I need to move it up about 3/4 of an inch, I guess. I'm going to move the stone up to, there there's a shiny spot where it used to be. I'm going to move the stone from there to about here. That way I can take advantage of the wedging effect of the expanding atlatl, and it'll give me more room when I move that loop and everything upward. Okay, so I've got some very faint marks, but I kind of guessed on this. This is, like I said, I think I mentioned this is the first time I've made a basket maker style atlatl, but I put that at the balancing point. The stone is right at the balancing point of the whole thing. Okay, so I kind of guessed and assumed I was correct. Now there is, I'll weigh this in a second. Let me discuss the weight. There is a mechanical advantage to adding a weight to the atlatl. Okay, I do have a background in structural engineering, and I did pretty good in my physics classes. And what this does, I can see what this does. It adds some momentum to the atlatl on the throw because of centripetal force and momentum. Okay, now if there's nothing here on the atlatl body itself, there's no weight, you're depending on your grip to leverage the throw to give it some more power. Okay, but if you've got like loose finger grips and no handle, which a lot of these atlatls were designed like, the only thing you have is this centripetal motion and this momentum of the atlatl weight pushing the atlatl dart before the release. So there is a mechanical advantage to having this stone as far as assisting in the throw and the pushing of the back of the atlatl. Okay, it's not only this lever arm doing the work, but if you add weight to it, there's also momentum behind this arm pushing the back of the atlatl as well. See what I mean? And this stone actually takes the place of this grip, or it can take the place. The more weight you add to it, the less you need to actually grip this part. Now if you don't have any weight at all, you're going to need to, probably assist in the throw by grabbing the handle. All right, now I have tried it loose. It does work loose, but if you're going to go after something like a moving target or a running, like a running bison or something like that, like an elk or something large, you need to have an extremely fast and powerful throw to get that dart moving as fast as possible to catch that animal on the run. Okay, I'm assuming that's the way it was done many times, because they would corner these animals before shooting them. So I don't think they were shooting them while the animals were still and just standing still. Okay, anyway, I'll get into that maybe later. I'll do some more reading. But yeah, I was watching some videos and reading some more references on atlatls from the Southwest, and they all seem to have this weight, and they all have minimal handles, and some don't have any at all, just loops. So I think this stone adds some momentum. Also, I forgot to mention, before and after, I was shooting this first with a heavy stick. This used to be heavier than it is now, and I was getting okay accuracy. Once I added the stone, I noticed that my throw was a lot smoother. So the stone was actually doing a lot of the work, and the trajectory of the stone is less erratic than me trying to guide it with my hand, because there's different joints in the arm and various other things going on. The grip may not be completely correct, and there could be some erratic motions to the throw, but the stone added to the Atlatl smoothens out that trajectory, that arc. I found that it helped me a lot with my accuracy as far as smoothing out the throw. So that's the second thing. First, there is a mechanical advantage. It's an assistant to the pushing of the back of the Atlatl, and also it smoothens out and creates a smoother arc if you let the stone do some of the work. Okay, and I may experiment with moving the stone around, but for now I'm just going to keep it at the balance point. So let me weigh this. Okay, grains. 1120, no. Yeah, 1120.2 grains for that. 563 grains. I think I said it was 700 grains. I was way off on that. So 563, and then another 84.6 grains for the little luck stone. Okay. So if there's any more questions, you can put them in the comments and stuff. I'm going to be working on the darts now. I think I've pretty much finished up with the Atlatl stuff. I'm going to keep this the way it is, this configuration with one loop. This stone here is this Atlatl weight. I hope you could have seen that the weights on the scale. I didn't have it in focus. Let me do that again. 1120.5, 563.1, 84.7, and no bindings. 32.4. Oh yeah, the leather. Leather in the bindings, 93.5. $18.65. Yeah, which is heavier than the dart that I was shooting. So yeah, this is the dart I was shooting. Just make sure I'm not making this up. Okay, I was shooting it like this, 13, 15, but later on I'll be shooting it with this on it, or something of equivalent weight. 1663. So the Atlatl is actually heavier than the dart right now, but we'll see. We'll see if that is something good or something bad. All right, and I'll give you updates along the way, of course. And if I find a different reference, or if I find a good book, I'll recommend that. There's a couple good websites on Atlatls. Basket Maker 2 is a good source, and Ryan Gill has some good videos on his Atlatl experiences and that kind of thing. I can't remember the name of his channel right off the top of my head. HuntPrimitive, right? It's a good resource too. Okay.